What's up everybody, Sean here and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please consider subscribing, the button is right down there. Before we begin, let's do a wristwatch check, and today I am wearing the Orient Star Outdoor. It's actually my grail watch for Orient Star, but today we are not outdoors, we are actually indoors because it's raining outside. So the watch that I'm reviewing today is the Orient Star Basic Date. Fun fact, this is actually the first watch that I reviewed on my blog before I started this YouTube channel. The reason I am doing this review now is because it was requested by one of my subscribers. Shout out to Holden for making this happen. Now, the original review was done with the blue limited edition dial version, but for this video, I decided to change it up just a little bit, and I was able to borrow the white dial version from the local distributor, Big Time Singapore, so shout out to them as well. And let's get right into it. So the watch comes in a case size of 42mm, a lug-to-lug distance of 50.8mm, with a lug width of 21mm. The case is made of stainless steel and it has an AR-coated sapphire crystal and a screw-down display case back. We have the F6N43 movement, which has automatic, hacking and hand winding with a power reserve of 50 hours and has a water resistance of 50 meters with a list price of 899 Singapore dollars, but you'll probably be able to find it with quite a decent discount. So the Orient Star Basic Date is a special Asia exclusive. What's so special about it is that Orient actually decided to make it after receiving a particularly strong demand for larger watches from the Asian market. It is designed to be a dressy yet sporty piece that looks just as at home in the office as it does on the golf course. This watch comes in 6 different colors, with the black, blue and grey dial versions coming in a stainless steel case, while the white and limited edition Nightscape blue dial versions feature a rose gold bezel on a stainless steel case. There is also a green dial version that comes with a yellow gold bezel on a stainless steel case. All models come on a stainless steel bracelet, with the green dial version having a two-tone yellow gold bracelet. The limited edition blue dial version that I reviewed previously is a 1000 piece Asia exclusive model. The model I am reviewing today, however, is the white dial version. So at 42mm and a 50.8mm lug-to-lug distance, it's admittedly not for everybody, but if Orient was compelled enough to create it, I'm sure the demand is there. It is admittedly large for my 6.25-inch wrist, and right at the limit of what I can pull off, in spite of the very nicely curved lugs. But even so, there were many times where I couldn't help but admire its strong presence. On the right size wrist, however, this watch does look amazing. The case itself is remarkably Orient Star. It exudes amazing quality and finishing for the price. While the sides of the case are brushed, giving it a sporty aesthetic, the rose gold bezel and bevel edges are mirror polished and very well cut to an Orient Star level of refinement. I'm actually told that this mirror finish is in fact Zaratsu polishing, and I wish Orient would take more liberties in marketing these sorts of things about their watches, because at the moment they are really underrated. Orient has even cut and polished the ends of the lugs to allow sleeves to slip over more easily. A rose gold signed crown matches the bezel and is nicely sized and finished with a grooved edge, making it easy to operate. The AR-coated sapphire crystal is flush with the bezel, giving it a smooth and clean look, while the display case back shows off a lightly decorated signed rotor. The 21mm lug width is probably not the most popular size, however, the provided bracelet is a very worthy offering, which I will talk about later. Now onto the dial. Unlike the limited edition model, which Orient describes on their website as embodying the Tokyo nightscape, the description of the other regular models like this one is much simpler and fittingly so. This is basically a simple and practical dial, topped off with Orient Star level of finishing. The off-white dial features a subtle sunburst effect that doesn't distract from the applied rectangular rose gold markers. These markers are brushed on the top and polished along the sides, which appear to be cut at an angle. On the dial, we have a beveled cutout for the date window with a painted frame around it sitting at the 3 o'clock position and a power reserve indicator beneath the 12 o'clock marker. Apart from these two complications, we have the Orient Star name and logo down below with a single line of text that says automatic. These elements combined give the dial a clean and simple look, which is exactly what this watch was designed to be. Simple and practical. The rose gold dolphin hands are very nicely done, and I honestly think that they deserve more attention. If you are able to see it up close, the hands are actually brushed down the middle and mirror polished along the sides. I do however wish that the minute and seconds hands were a bit longer in order to reach the chaptering markers. A small area of lume on the hour and minute hands helps to retain the sporty aspect of this watch. A bit arbitrary if I were to be honest, but still somewhat helpful when you're in complete darkness. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you will know that I love Orient and Orient Star movements, and the F6N43 here is no exception. Although it's not cost standards, the Orient Star movements have been very accurate in my experience, and they actually feel a bit more sturdy and precise to operate than the movements that you'll find in the regular Orients. The date ring of these movements particularly stand out to me for their accurate alignment with the date windows, where I normally have to fiddle with the crown a little on the standard Orients just to get it perfectly centered. At this price point, you'd be hard pressed to find a better movement than this. Now about the bracelet, I really like it. Orient isn't particularly well known for providing outstanding bracelets, especially at their lower price points. But stepping up to Orient Star does tend to bring significant improvements in this area. Solid end links and a signed milk clasp make this one of the best bracelets that I've seen on an Orient so far. The clasp locks with a solid and positive click, and it releases just as confidently. It wears very comfortably on my wrist and is well balanced to distribute the weight of the watch. And although it uses pins instead of screws and only offers 3 micro adjustments, I'd say that it's about sufficient for most people and not something you can really complain about at this price point. The construction and finishing, however, is where this bracelet really punches above its weight. The surface is mostly brushed all around with a slight polishing on the clasp, and the links have the appearance of a 3-piece oyster style design, but with a bit of a twist. While the outer links have the typical rounded ends, they are very flat with a very slight curve to them. The middle links go even further, with flat angled cuts and a straight facing on the outside. Another thing to notice is that this is in fact a 2-piece link and not a 3-piece. The outer links are actually connected together by a solid bridge down the middle that the middle link is fixed onto, which results in a sort of a solid H-link. Because of this design, we get a bracelet that is very smooth and supple while still being laterally rigid, making it well balanced with the watch. Hair pulling is also reduced because of this type of construction. So I do think that this is a very worthy bracelet that won't have you rushing to swap them out, and fortunately so because these are 21mm lug widths, so that would kind of limit your choice of straps by a bit. So my final thoughts about this watch, I think it exudes everything that is Orient Star. It offers superb value, quality, and finishing for the price point, along with a unique design that is both functional and pleasing to the eye. While I do wish it was a bit smaller, and I suspect some of you might too, there are also plenty of people who do want this type of size in a watch, literally enough to warrant the very creation of this model range. Size aside, which by the way is kind of my own fault for having such skinny wrists, I honestly love everything else about this watch. It is surprisingly comfortable on my wrist, and it even wears smaller than the number suggests. And if Orient made this in a size closer to 40 or even 39mm, I'd be the first person in line. And that wraps it up for today. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please consider giving a like and subscribing to the channel down below, and I will see you in the next one.